I didn't want no more down here.
Oh,
And then I argued with him about the stupid thing needing upgrade, and he said it don't need upgrade. He said I'm telling you something messed up on it, and then didn't upgrade it, and it was fine.
upgrade the next week is fine.
Who was the
Good evening, football fans. You are looking live at Junction City and Hamburg in the first and only scrimmage of the season. We are just about a week away from kicking off the 2022 campaign. Dragon Sports Network's 10th year coverage of Junction City football. I'm Jacob Humphrey, joined alongside Brennan Cupp and Derek Rocket. And fellas, I'll tell you what, the longest period of time I think that anybody has to go through in this life is from the last day of football season until the day before football season begins. But I think it's safe to say, gentlemen, that we have made it.
Absolutely. It felt like an extra long time this year, Pump. Ended a little bit earlier than usual.
Yes, it did. Yes, it did. And I know there's a lot of storylines surrounding this year's Junction City team. A lot of things that'll be talked about throughout the season as Hamburg is on offense first. To give you a little information on how it's going to operate tonight. The Lions will run 10 plays. It'll be first teams against each other. They'll run 10 offensive plays, and then they'll switch, and Junction City will run 10 offensive plays, and then they'll put the second units out there, and they'll run 8 plays each, and there'll be two 12-minute quarters, and time will just run. As Junction City's out there, it's going to be 3rd and 6, fourth play of the Hamburg drive. And for those that, I don't know, I guess you could say maybe had their head in the sand the last couple of months, Dragons moving up to 3A or back up to 3A this year. And I tell you what, you look at that conference that Junction City's in, it's going to be somewhat more difficult than I think conferences that they've found themselves in years past.
Absolutely.
Hamburg with some big bodies up front. Junction City able to counter with some weight on that defensive line. Going to be some familiar faces, some familiar names for Dragon fans this year, but also going to see some new talent out there as well. And a big play there.
Hayden Hudson.
That's going to be Hudson.
That's his 3rd already.
The junior from his linebacker position. That was a good pursuit of the football. It's going to put them back behind the chains. Looks like they'll just reset it back to the 20. It's one thing about these controlled scrimmages, gentlemen, is sometimes you really don't know what's going on out there as far as where they're setting it, and that's kind of the way it needs to be. Coaches know the things that they need to work on, and obviously they've talked before the game, and they kind of know what they'd like to see and things like that. And so the big thing I think for Junction City tonight is they just get to hit somebody else.
Absolutely.
1st down and 10 for the Lions. It's going to be screen pass over to the left, and good pursuit there by Junction City. First receiver's almost able to get out of the first initial tackle. A couple Dragons over there on the stop. Jordan Banks, Jackson Thurman.
They're flying around to the football, Jacob. I like to see that.
They're wrapping up.
It is good to see, especially like we just mentioned. It, you're playing a different opponent. You're getting to hit somebody that obviously you haven't seen before this season, and so it's going to give this coaching staff, new look coaching staff, the opportunity to dissect some film in a real game atmosphere, and that should set them up well going into next week. 6th play of the opening drive for the Lions. And I tell you what, passing attack, they do like to get the football out fast. Dragons so far holding their own against their 4A counterpart. 3 plays left here in this opening drive. Pretty good crowd on hand. Hamburg definitely made that trip out of Ashley County. They'll keep it in tight. Single receiver to each side out of the shotgun. Gibbs going to go right, and again, good pursuit there from that second level by the Dragons. First there was, who was the first one there, gentlemen?
65. Is that Estrada?
Yeah, that's Estrada, yeah.
DeBose came in to clean it up there.
Good pursuit by Estrada there. He come out of nowhere.
One thing about this Dragon team this year is they're definitely the numbers are a little bit lower than I think you would expect, or just that Dragon fans have probably been accustomed to over the past couple of years. So you're definitely going to see a lot of these names going both sides of the football. Not that hadn't been the case for years, but probably more so this year than in years past. Now Hamburg's gonna they dang near empty it out, put twin receivers both sides of the formation. Good coverage there on the far side of the field. It's Anthony Williams.
See a sophomore, Jacob?
He is listed in this as a senior. Of course, Junction City only with, according to the roster, only with 6 seniors on the roster. Obviously, we just saw from Williams the play before we saw from Estrada. And, of course, a couple of other names that you'll hear often. Jacorian Key, Chris Norman, Corey DeBose. I believe it might be the final play of the drive for Hamburg. Actually going to tag them with a false start. One thing about it, boys, is this is a scrimmage between two teams, but it's also a tune-up for an officiating crew. We got more. I think we've got more striped jerseys out there than we've seen in quite some time. So guys are able to get in some officiating reps, and so it's a tune-up for everybody. Tune-up for us, obviously. Tune-up for the folks in the press box and doing PA and clock. They're going to toss one up right side, in and out of the arms. That was blanket coverage. That's good coverage there. Taylon Owens, sophomore defensive back, wearing that number 9 jersey. Good coverage there. In fact, he was given about I'd say about 4 inches on the receiver that he was on, and he stuck with him the rest of the way and made a good move to the football.
That's about as good as it gets on the opening 10 plays there, Jacob. I liked what I saw.
Yeah, minus that first play where they kind of almost looked like it may have caught them off guard a little bit. But they definitely settled down, forced a turnover on downs actually that reset them back to the 20. And then there was a couple of penalties there, and then the good defensive play by Owens. And now Junction City we'll see from the Dragon offense for the first time tonight.
Look at this size out here in the corner, Jacob. 6'4", 6'5".
Definitely could create some matchup problems this season. Snap, that's going to be right up the gut. Good carry there. Jordavian Williams, somewhat of a breakout campaign last year as a sophomore. We saw him more at times in the back half of games, second half of games. Definitely did a good job spelling some of those starters. But it's going to be it's definitely going to be his show. Definitely going to be his show moving forward into this season.
He's added some weight too. That's going to help him.
Definitely, he's definitely bulked up, especially in the lower body. You can look at his, legs. Anybody knows football? I mean, you can look at a guy from one year to the next and can tell that he has definitely become really, really, really good friends with a squat rack, and that's always a good sign, especially when your rushing numbers are going to expand greatly. You're definitely going to want to be in shape for that, and it looks like he definitely had a pretty good offseason.
Jacob, let me throw a question at you here. We're watching this. You're David Carpenter. You play for this man and everything. What's the first thing he's really looking at in this scrimmage?
I think probably the first thing he's focusing on is, you want to say execution, yeah, but at the same time, it's an opportunity. You want to see guys flying around. You want to see guys. If you're going to mess up 110. But you want to see moving around. You want to see maybe even some leadership start to develop. Some of your older guys, the guys that have been in the huddle for a couple of years, you want to see them they start directing maybe some of the younger ones or some of the guys out there that may be a little less experienced. So as much as you want to see execution, you want to see guys performing the right blocks and backs taking the right steps and receivers doing what they need to do. You also want to see just playing fast. You don't want to see much standing around, and you want to see guys doing what they're supposed to do.
One thing you look at, already, was on defense first, those 10 plays. You did see some of that flying around. At first, kind of start out a little sluggish. But, yeah, it's a scrimmage. You're finally hitting somebody else. And that's a big help. I agree with you wholeheartedly about you're looking for, people flying around, going 110 miles an hour. And Carpenter's always said it, don't go 55 miles an hour. You make a mistake. I want you going 110. And with him back, he's going to bring back some old school stuff that the Dragons need. And I believe people are going to be surprised what this team can do as the season progresses. You look at some of the workouts they went through. They still got a lot to go. Players have changed since the last time Coach was on the field. That was in 2016, his last season. But he's adapted, but he's still going to bring his principles to it.
Yeah, like we said, coming on the air, a lot of storylines surrounding this season. Obviously, the move back to 3A, new look on the sideline, someone well respected around the state of Arkansas for what he's been able to do in his coaching career. Returns, obviously, even storylines that at first may almost seem negative, like the roster may not be as beefed up as we've seen in years past, but all of that'll it'll play a part in how the season kind of starts off and how it develops, especially once you start getting towards the middle of the I don't want to say the dog days, but you start getting toward the middle of a season where I don't want to say it's kind of decided, but you can really see which direction the season is going to go.
Absolutely. And one thing that's going to be on their side too, let's throw this in there, 6 home games. So you're not jumping on a bus a whole bunch and heading there. You got a few short trips. You're going to have 2 fairly good ones. But you got 6 home games, and that's going to be a plus. You're in your environment.
Yeah, it really is. Especially you're moving into a conference that's going to have you're going to be playing some opponents that you obviously maybe not be as accustomed to playing. Going to find yourself on the road in some places that you, in fact, Junction will find themselves in a place that they probably haven't played at since the late '80s, maybe the early '90s, and so to add on to what you were saying there, Wayne, about the home games, it's going to be good, like you said. It's especially with a team that may be inexperienced in some areas, to be able to play that many games at home. You're really hopefully going to benefit from that, and you definitely need to take advantage of those Friday nights in the border town.
And another thing, talking about the schedule, you got a couple games people are looking at going, well, man, they're going to be in trouble here, they're going to be in trouble there. You can't really say that yet. As you see, DeBoe's a very nice pass there.
Good catch, too. Caught it with his hands out front. That's Hudson. That's Key on the reception. Really good job bringing that in. That was good coverage out there on the edge from the Lions.
He was impressive in the little purple gold the other day. Last year was his first year of football. I mean, you could tell it was a learning experience. You could see the talent. I mean, he's got unreal athleticism, but maybe he'll put it all together this year.
The Dragons going to put twins to either side of the formation. And DeBoe's pressured immediately and is going to lose the football. And so he saw that front side pressure, tried to bounce out of the pocket and got it knocked away. And I believe the Dragons are going to have, I think, just 2 more plays here in this 10-play session, and then we'll see from some of the reserve players as the second units will take the field. So Jordavian Williams checks back into the game for Junction City. Set to DeBoe's left. They fake to him. 3-step drop, thrown up over the middle. And good coverage there in the secondary by the Lions, trying to hook up with Key.
One aspect of this season that's got to be laying time he had, because last year he lost most of it to an injury. One of the factors that led to the Dragons having the tough season they had. But how quickly he can develop and lead this offense, that'll be something to watch. Of course, he's got to have time to do it.
I was just about to mention that, and that's a good hustle there from Williams to get on the football. But, yeah, Wayne, you like you said it. You said a mouthful there. Now, granted, Hamburg's, they've got some size out there. They've definitely beefed up on that defensive front. But Corey's development is going to go as the time he has in the pocket to be able to make those decisions and make those reads and get the ball. Because the thing is, he's got playmakers. He'll have some playmakers out there. There's no doubt about that. Brennan mentioned the size of some of his targets he's going to have. And, to my knowledge, there aren't too many 6'3", 6'4" cornerbacks in 3A football. Just a plentiful cornerbacks in 3A. So they're going to have some matchup opportunities, but it's all going to be key on if he can have time to get them to him.
You'll swap it down to the other end of the field now, and I believe, let's see.
Yeah, it should be some of the reserves now for Junction City.
There's not going to be
too many. There may be some first string guys getting reps in different positions than what they would when they're with the first unit.
You got big number 50 over here. That's our force on the defensive line.
And a good play in the backfield there. Tony Hodges, the sophomore. Hodges listed at 220.
He was moving good,
He was moving good. He was moving good. Moving real good. Broke through the line and made a really good play there. Puts lines behind the sticks about 3 yards, 2nd and 13. And a good job right there up front. You won't see that in the box score tomorrow morning. In fact, probably won't be a box score tomorrow morning. But Mason Jeter, another sophomore, listed at 270. They may need to put him back on the scale. That's a big fella, but he did a great job. Basically took two bodies, and if you've got a back, that second unit, you've got some linebackers that can fly around. If you can take two bodies away from an offensive line, that's going to allow some of those guys in that back half to definitely fly around and make some plays.
Absolutely. And it also, when you do that, you're disrupting an offense because that's going to free you're taking two out. You're freeing up some of your teammates to make their moves and make a play.
Pass thrown just a little bit high. Williams out there on the coverage.
Well, of course, the annual statewide magazine's already out. The Dragons picked 4th in the conference, I believe. But 13th, was it, Jacob? 13th or 14th in state.
13th in the state, yep.
So it's saying something about the conference we're in.
Yeah, it definitely does. Top 4 teams are in the top 15.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Prescott's lead the pack.
Statewide.
Yeah, Prescott, Garden, Falk, and
Falk was
Junction.
3 and Junction was 4. Yep.
Forgot about Falk. Yeah, it's a tough conference.
One thing's for sure, you finish, that's going to be a high snap. Good pursuit there from Junction. One thing about it, you find yourself in the state playoffs at the end of the year. You certainly earned it going through that conference. And in fact, I don't know if you call it sister conference, but the one that's basically, on the other side of the state, it's certainly a gauntlet in its own right. You look out there and
see who all you got over there.
I believe
Rising.
Rising's over there. I think Fordyce is over there.
Grove.
It's a pretty that's definitely a
Won't be no off nights.
No, there won't be no off nights in those two conferences. That's for sure.
I believe Fordyce is doing a little jamboree against Garden tonight.
Two teams become a little bit familiar with each other over the past couple of years in the 2A ranks, so be interesting to see how that turns out. So Hamburg able to get back across the original line of scrimmage. I believe they've got about 3 plays left in this 8-play session. This is their second unit on the field, and gentlemen, I'd say they probably have enough for 3 full units.
Absolutely.
They got a good-looking squad in the junior high and 7th grade squad they had out here, about an hour ago. That was a good-looking bunch, so they definitely are not short on depth.
Well, Jacob, when the junior high first come out on the field, we all look and go, why is their senior high? Why is their senior high coming on out now?
Yeah.
No, it was the junior high.
Good strong throw there into traffic as well. Probably somewhat of a catchable football there. Might have been a little bit of case of the footsteps, but not a bad toss there. I can't don't have the number on the quarterback's got the red jersey on, but good looking kid too. He's got some size on him. Got some height.
You know, and for the Dragons, you know, and for Hamburg too, but, you know, let's talk about Junction. Here's a chance to hit somebody else, and at the same time, the coach is getting a good look at you against an opponent. You got some film you can go back and look at and go, okay, guys, you know, here's what we need to do. Here's what we did good. Let's build on that. And then you get ready for Grove. And, you know, I've had people ask me, well, what games we need to watch closely and all that. Well, I can answer that for you very easily because I told Coach Carpenter, I said, how are you approaching this? And he said, with, you know, this first year, it's one game at a time. He said, I know it sounds cliche, but it is. It's one game at a time. We're going to build on it. We got a good out-of-conference schedule to deal with. It'll get us ready for conference. And, you know, there's a couple games on there you definitely, you know, Grove, of course, right off the bat, September 16th, you got a team coming in that's got a pretty big tradition in Louisiana, in the Haynesville Golden Tornado. Then you
yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty good, you know. You're looking on down the road, we go to Prescott. That's a key game, no doubt. They're all going to be key games. But if you look and go, well, where do we really see how we're going to measure up, how we're going to look? 2 games, and well, let's go ahead and throw Grove and Haynesville in there. But also Prescott when you go there, and at the end of the regular season, Gurdon when they come here.
Yeah, there's definitely, anytime you look at a schedule, name alone, you're going to have the ones you circle. But I do agree, you know, it's just going to be a week by week approach, and that's how it needs to be. You know, regardless if you're the top team in the state, if you're find yourself on the bottom trying to push through and get back up to the middle of the pack, wherever you're at, I think it just needs to be a week to week approach. Specifically for Junction City, I think you know depth is going to be key. Which
absolutely.
The thing with depth is health, obviously, and so Dragons will need to stay as healthy as possible, and so there's a lot of factors that are going to play into it, and I think because of those factors, that's why you have to have that week to week approach. Junction City back on offense. Not a bad job there by the second unit defensively. Hamburg definitely had a couple of hiccups that might have aided in that, and ball carrier there for Junction City. That's Williams.
Dragons, one thing I was looking at the sideline there, there's really not, they've been running quite a few players, especially when they had second unit defense in there, in and out. There's not very many more you can run in or out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're going to see guys, you're going to see some of the same guys out there, just maybe in a different position, just to try to get a different look and throw that one's into the dirt. I believe that's Owens, sophomore. Saw him made a pretty good defensive play there against Hamburg's first unit. He's in at quarterback here for the Dragons.
You know, and one thing that's been talked about in the preseason, especially after fall camp started, was if Owens can develop to where he might possibly take several key snaps during the game, and you have DeBose along with the 2 wideouts that Brendan's been talking about, you got 3 weapons easily to choose from, not to mention the backfield, which expecting a big year out of Jordavian. You really want to see him come through, get that 1,000+ yards, and help that ground game really get growing. But Hudson too.
I think you're going to see some big things from Hudson. Hudson runs hard.
It's a good-looking kid too.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed, no doubt about that.
And Hudson is a
junior.
Both are juniors then.
And Coach Carpenter has talked about that. You know, you got a small senior class. I think there's five guys. The junior class, he's really, he's impressed with all of them. The work they're doing and all, but he's really excited about the junior class because I think there's about 11 juniors. So you're looking for them. Any of the seniors that can step up and help out, of course, but you're really wanting to see the juniors step up and take some leadership roles, and that helps you build toward the future.
You got a pretty good freshman class coming up too.
And of course, the junior high scrimmage before this. For those that are keeping score, final was 14-7. And the Dragons looking good, pulling it off.
Jordavion.
Yeah, Williams back out there for Junction City.
If we can just get him into space.
You got a little bit of a, talking about Hudson, the way he runs, Brendan. You got a little bit of thunder and lightning there.
Absolutely.
And for David Carpenter, there's weapons to work with. And one thing, though, he's really wanting to see, like Jacob mentioned, you want to see these guys flying around, but he wants to see this defense get established.
So far, so good on the defensive end.
And they have looked good so far.
Offensively, you just, clean up the offensive line a little bit, get you guys into space, and roll with it. The experience, man, experience.
And one thing they're going to have is some of these sophomores gain some experience pretty quick to help out.
Yep.
Because as Jacob mentioned, and we talked about it earlier, depth's a big thing. And it's going to be big that you got some guys that will be able to step in and play, be able to rotate them around, play 2 or 3 different positions. Say, for instance, on offensive line, you play in, move you in the tackle, maybe move you over to a guard position.
Pass is incomplete. I like the design though. You bring the far guy out, you slant him inside, and then you just almost somewhat of a spot pass there, but kind of caught Hamburg misaligned.
I think the highlight of the night so far, the evening so far for me, is the official here with the and 1 shorts on. He wins.
It's not a bad look.
It's not a bad look.
And pass is intercepted.
He read that perfect.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He stared him down and he read it.
Owens telegraphed it a little bit. He was trying to come out wide to his first read, Justin Johnson, the sophomore. I don't know if he was out there quick enough for Owens to toss it over to him, so he went to that hot route off the tight end, and safety was certainly staring him down the whole time and was able to take advantage.
I think we're going to have a little pause here. What we got coming up next, Jacob?
I think it's that first 12-minute quarter's done. I mean, unless they're just going to probably go back through it, I would think maybe 10 plays for each offense and then 8 plays for the second. And
that was still our second team. 8 plays, wasn't it?
mm-hmm.
I believe so. Yeah, the
I
officials are talking over coach now.
Yeah, I think they'll probably get a quick breather.
I tell you what, while they're doing that, let me tell you folks a good thing.
You can take all of them.
And that is the Dragon Sports Network advertisers. 30 of them this year. El Dorado Chemical, been with us from the old get-go. They're the title sponsor of Dragon Football. And also, when we're up top of the Emerson Brewer, the broadcast booth, named after EDC, the EDC broadcast booth. Ameriprise Financial will be the presenter of the David Carpenter Show this year. Langs's presenter of the Wall of Honor. That is September 16th, the Haynesville game. This year, we've expanded our game night pregame show. The presenter of it is Clean Harbors. We have a new, you might say, presenter for Dragon Football on the DSN, and they're also the official field care provider for Dragon Football. That's Noakes Lawn Care. Scoreboard updates this year will be brought to you by USW, Local 13434. Glenn Mechanical will be the presenter of Dragon Football on YouTube. And, of course, our scoreboard, the Glenn Mechanical Scoreboard. One that is very dear to the DSN, the Kevin Norris Memorial. I want to thank Miss Jan, Allison, and April. It is great having them with us. Terminex, Apache Industrial Services, El Dorado Custom Carpet, Generations Bank, Murphy Heating and Air LLC, and Mark Williams, who says good luck to the Dragons in this 2022 season, all a part of the DSN. And then we got a few more we'll name here shortly as we're getting ready, Jacob, I believe, for a kickoff.
How'd y'all say they were doing this? Or does it say
I think it's going to be a 12-minute.
2 of them or just 1? Or did it say?
I think it's
I
going to
think
be
it's going to
2.
be 2 12-minute.
Okay, I got you.
And they're going to go from there.
Yeah, so basically what it amounted to was each first team offense got 10 plays, each second team offense got 8 plays, and then now they're going to run 2 12-minute quarters.
Gotcha.
And the Dragons will go on offense first.
So we'll see from that first team offense. Didn't look bad there in their first go at it. A couple bright spots, a couple good runs. Bows will have to have time to throw the football.
We'll start with Hudson.
Who is to the right of DeBose, twins to the right. And they're going to give to Hudson. And he's met in the backfield several lines, forced him back inside, and second level was able to get to him. So he's going to lose several yards there on the first down carry.
Next Friday, kicks it off. Harmony Grove comes to town. And then that Saturday, college football fires up. And then about a week and a half later, maybe exactly 2 weeks later, it is the pros. Football is here, folks. As a buddy of mine said, life begins again.
And DeBose tosses it up, and that's going to be bounced around and off the helmet and intercepted for the Lions. That's number 5. We do not have a 5 on the roster. But good concentration there as it bounced around a little while. That was Key, who DeBose was trying to connect with. He went up to high point the football, went in and out of his hands. It kind of bounced around and went off the helmet of another defender. It was double coverage, but I think Key was certainly behind both defenders.
And that'll put the Dragons on defense with the Lions starting from Junction City's 39. And this, of course, is the first of 2 12-minute quarters.
.50 front for the Dragons. That's going to be good pursuit there. Again, Estrada and Chris Norman.
On that DeBose play, Jacob, I think he threw it just about a half second quicker than he wanted to. Had to get rid of it because, like you said, he had some space down there. If he could have waited just a little longer to throw that.
Yeah, and he was sitting on his back foot too when he kind of hoisted it up there, and so didn't really get to step into the throw either. And I think that's what allowed it to kind of hang up a little bit. Spot pass out to the right. Good open field wrap up there.
Is that Key?
I believe that was Key out there on
Yes.
the edge.
Big improvement from last year. He's
Nicely done.
They read it well and moved in very quickly. So let me ask y'all this. Just say you have some trouble this year, you know, offensive line still trying to develop and all, and you want to try to get a passing game going. What do? Do you start just rolling the bows out a lot, or
try to do some quicker slants, maybe? I mean, you got size.
and
Roll with that.
Good defensive
Good,
play
yes.
there. Javion Davis, the sophomore, or excuse me, the junior.
Can't say enough about him, man. That's one that you're going to be excited for.
He was back there immediately.
He was back there quickly. Fired up about it too, and rightfully so. That's going to bring up a 4th down. So the Dragon defense, after the turnover, they responded the way you want them to respond. Hamburg had it at the Junction City 39, and they're going to punt it away here at the Junction City 38. So you surrender a yard. So I don't know if you could necessarily draw it up any better than that. So we'll see from the Lions punting unit. Going to be dual returners for the Dragons. Key set near side. Far side for Junction City at about a 7 is going to be DeBose. So certainly 2 playmakers back deep for Junction. A little bit of an audible there. rolls the snap back, and an absolute booming punt's going to bounce at the 1 and out of the back of the end zone. So Dragons will have it first down and 10, 7:59 to go here in first 12-minute period. And that's it kind of depends on the situation. When you just thinking about fall camp is sometimes maybe if it's an established, thinking about it at the collegiate level, having the opportunity to be around a team this fall that has a new head coach and really, with the exception of the defensive line coach, an entirely new staff from the staff last year. And so there's situations where you look and go, okay, well, maybe the offense is going to be a little bit more ahead of the defense's development, or maybe it's a different situation and the defense is going to be, maybe a little bit more developed than the offense was. Just, of course, no situation is the same, but I would say here that the Dragon defense certainly is looking pretty good here early on, and obviously that the development of the offense, maybe with some younger pieces on that side of the football, will certainly come along as the season goes forward.
Well, Jake, the old adage, you know what? Let me build my defense, and hopefully my offense will get going. We'll work on it. We're going to try to get it going. We'll tweak it. We'll do whatever we have to do. You win championships with defense.
Right.
And nowadays it seems like everybody, we got to win it with offense. We got to outscore them. But, my 2 cents word, and that's all it is. Yeah, you want that defense clicking. And what you're seeing so far from Junction City on defense, you got to like it. And I agree with Brendan. Number 50, you like what you're seeing out of him.
Man, you're not really getting to see they're hitting the running backs and DeBose as soon as they touch the football here. So you're really not getting to see it. Goes back to your question a few minutes ago. What do you do to kind of give him more time or quicker plays? But that one right there, I don't know if you can draw one up to get that one off, Wayne.
It's going to be something. You don't start sending off the warning alarms just yet.
No.
By no means. This is a scrimmage. There's still time to get ready. Not as much as there was, but also you may be just doing a few things, knowing Coach Carpenter, hey, we're just going to do this here.
Show this.
We're going to show this. We've been working on some stuff. You'll see it during the season.
And pass complete over the middle, and DeBose took a hit, too. And, of course, gentlemen, I can tell you this is the first time, this is the first time any of us have seen Hamburg this year. I hope nobody with a headset acts like they've watched film on them. But not calling y'all out or anything. But that's a pretty athletic defensive front. Just watching the way some of their technique, especially 64 right there, some of his technique there to get back to the quarterback. So it's a pretty good front that they're having to try to defend against, and that's a good job by DeBose. You like to see him stay in the pocket. Gonna get popped. That comes with the territory of being the big dog on the field. You're gonna get hit, but it delivered a good pass, and it was a good catch on the back end. And that's what you sometimes like to see. And the jump pass was trying to get it to Carter, but it's going to fall incomplete. Carter's the one that hauled it in the previous play. Saw a little bit of that athleticism.
Good-looking kid.
And something that they may have to do, they rolled it out then. And, of course, like you said, Jacob, you saw the jump pass. The receivers, and it's another thing, getting familiar with each other. You'd like to see him kind of maybe head on down the field a little bit when he saw them roll out, throw that hand up, here I am. Stretch them out a little bit more. And, if DeBose has got a little bit of run room, he may take off instead.
Second down, and we'll call it 10. 2 receivers to the right, low snap, and going to have to throw off his back foot. And
that come out bad.
On top of that, I think he felt pressure that wasn't
Yeah.
there, that wasn't quite there. He maybe just from some previous plays.
Well, the first year we did the SN many moons ago, Randall Holyfield's quarterback of the Dragons, and you made a statement about halfway through the season that Randall Holyfield, the offense is really clicking even better because he's gotten comfortable with it. He's familiar with it. And sure enough, the Dragon, you thought, well, man, they don't have to do much else. But they actually could do even more once he got comfortable with it. And it's going to be a question, how comfortable DeBose going to be in the pocket? Is he going to be able to relax enough to get that time when he's got it to make a play, to make the pass, or whatever he needs to do. The question is going to be, of course, if the offensive line can develop and give him that time. And let's face it, with the playmakers they got, they're not going to need a lot.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
give them enough time to execute the offense.
That's right. You won't need much time, but you will need some. And so, but that comes with development. It comes with live reps. You can't imitate. I mean, you can't substitute live reps. Live reps are what they are, and that's the best thing for them, is to be able to to see yourself on film, get that film, and then begin to work towards being better. Ooh. End over end punt by Norman. It's going to be muffed, but they're just going to allow him to start the drive where he caught it, and that's going to be at the Hamburg 36-yard line. They'll work off the far hash, moving right to left. 3:17 to play here in the opening 12-minute period. Be another 12-minute period to follow this one.
Jacob, that was about a 35, 36-yard punt, which is there, no roll. Norman known for getting that roll that can go about 20 yards sometimes. And on that one, of course, they're not going to return or anything with it being a scrimmage. It's a dead ball once they kick it. Just want to see what they can do. So you like seeing that out of Norman. He got his foot into it and put that one up in the air pretty good.
So now the Lion offense back to the field. Single receiver to each side. It's going to be a stretch give over to the left. And good pursuit there and a nice tackle there by DeBose. And Norman was the first one there. And back was able to kind of shake free of him, but Corey made sure he didn't go much further. Coming down, playing downhill from that safety position.
It's early, man, but the defense looks good right now.
That's why I was standing there just looking at him thinking, you can tell that the defense is really coming along. That's something Jacob mentioned a while ago, who's really starting to develop and, show they got it going on. The defense is showing it right now.
And like you said, they're excited to hit somebody other than their team.
Right.
I mean, been doing it all summer. It's time to hit somebody else.
It gets old pretty quick.
And pass is incomplete. Tried to thread it in there between double coverage. Blanketed up nicely by DeBose on the top and Key following. I think a big part of it, though, I keep looking at that defensive front from Junction City. Got some big bodies there. It's one thing to be just a don't mean this negative. It's one thing just to be a mass, but it's another thing to be able to move with it. And the ones they've got out there, they've put out there so far have been extremely athletic as far as just being able to take on blockers, but still not just give yourself up. If that makes any sense, you're big bodies. You're going to take two guys, but hey, hold your own while you take two guys. And
right. You got Davis, Ivy, and who's the third, Jacob? Was it 64?
You had Hodges.
I know Jeter out there has the sophomore. That's just a sophomore there.
He took on two a while ago.
Hodges is just a sophomore as well. So you got some young guys out there getting some experience and holding their own. They're on that defensive line for Junction City. Of course, like you said, you've got anytime you've got some of that linebacking core Junction's guys, especially with Norman out there.
Norman, he
kind of controlling things. He's
Well, you're speaking of Hodges and Jeter a while ago, Jacob. Both of those guys made good reads. They just didn't fly around. You could tell they knew what they were doing and got back into the backfield very quick on a couple of plays previously in one of the controlled plays, scrimmages they had before this first 12-minute one. And you like seeing that, especially when you got, I believe both of them are sophomores, if I'm correct.
It's a big third down here.
3rd and long. Have to get it to R&D to convert. Throws it up left side, and that's going to be picked off DeBose. I think he got a foot down.
Yes, he did.
That was an athletic play there.
Very good play.
From the safety. Picks it off. Dragons going to have it at their own 46. They'll be moving left to right. 26 seconds left in this period. And it looks like it may
run on out.
Still going to run on out. Flag.
In the backfield, I believe.
Like they might have called it on. Junction. See, I didn't see what the actual flag was.
I have my eyes downfield, man.
Working through the elements of a cold press box and a warm outside here. What are you gonna do about it, Denton? Say nothing, huh?
That'll wind it up on the first, I believe.
Yeah, that'll wind it up on the first 12 minutes of action here in this first session.
One more 12-minute period to go, and that'll conclude the scrimmage with the Hamburg Lions. As we get ready to do that, just a reminder that next Friday night, it's on like a Chickadilly chicken bone. Brendan, we're going to have some Junction City football live and real, and it'll be right here at Paul H. Muse Field at David Carpenter Stadium. And I know you're ready for it.
Buddy, I am. I'm not going to lie to you, Wayne. I had a lot of fun in basketball season and football last year in basketball. I mean, it just feels like yesterday, and it's been a while, though. I'm ready to get back out here.
I tell you what, I'm ready to see what this Dragon team's really going to be able to do. We've talked about it during the little break there. Defense is looking good. There's going to have to be some work on the offense, but the coaches knew that. They're just trying to see maybe some guys can come around and, you know, keep from having to play as many as you're going to have to play both ways.
Well, you talked about them just hitting each other all summer.
Yeah.
They haven't seen that intensity on defense. There's guys on their own team during practice. They're not going to fly, and they're not going to put the pressure on you like you're going to get in the real game.
And that's going to be an eye-opener for some of these younger players or a guy that's really stepping into a starting role. You're right, a Rocket. That's going to have to, you know, you're going to have to see what's going to be able to develop on the offensive line. You may have to move a guy or two from defense over there, you know, have them play them both ways. But this is a good chance here to get it all down on film, look at it. The coaches are going to make their adjustments and go from there. And Grove last year, of course, it didn't start out good for us, but I believe ended up being a playoff team, and I think won, 2 playoff games? I can't remember for sure.
I believe that's right.
I believe they did. So Dragons will get a test right off the bat as they're going to take one deep here, and it works.
Good catch by Key.
They got a guy over here writing everything down. They'll be ready next week.
Yep. Oh, yeah, I guarantee you what was it, Fordyce and Gurdon's going at each other. I guarantee you there's quite a few people in the stands making notes on that one too.
Yep.
And we got them here tonight.
Yeah, we got several over there.
Yep. I know Ashdown, I saw them. They were here.
Yeah, I'm sure scouting. Saw Grove and Ashdown and a couple others. Which I don't blame them, man. It's football season.
That's
Why
what you
watch?
do. Get in here and take a look at it and see.
I think that's going to be a big part this year. Key and Carter. Can you get the match? He's all right.
He pulls it in. That's good to
That's
see.
a good catch.
That's man. You got those two kids right there,
big
Wayne.
time ball play.
Like Jacob said, what 3A team's going to match up with a 6'4", 6'5"? You got two of them.
That's it.
He had good time there, too.
Yep.
And here's one more thing. If you can develop that passing game enough to take pressure off the running game, it
Opens
might open
holes.
the door because it don't take much. And we all, we said that a while ago when Jacob was talking about the playmakers. It's not going to take long. You ain't got to have 5 seconds, 4 seconds, nothing. Just quick pop. What's the old Gail Sayers say? 18 inches is all I need.
There we go.
And he got that sliver right there.
Make those.
I think he was down.
I'm gonna say they're calling them down.
Make those defensive linemen run up down the field a little bit, chasing. I mean, going up down the field. They haven't had to move tonight. Boy, anytime DeBose takes off, I kind of hold my breath after watching what happened last year.
And that is the one thing. You don't want to see him taking punishment back there in that pocket.
We've been spoiled for several years of not having the big injuries, and then they hit like they did last year to several players. Throw it batted. Got some boys in the following room over here getting pumped up, Wayne.
Yeah, they are. The coaches for Hamburg. They're next door to us. We came inside tonight to we want to do a little bit of testing, so we apologize if your view is not as what you're accustomed to, but when we got inside, we had a good signal, so we went with it, and just a chance us to get on here and get the kinks worked out, get everything ready, and then cut loose next Friday night. And I can't promise you we'll keep all these guys in control.
Need to punch this one on in here.
Indeed we do.
They ran into each other there, Williams, and yeah. You don't want to fall in love. You got those two receivers just back to back to back to back. I mean, take some off of them. You're going to get them eyes over there. You got Owens over here. Maybe run a little slant or out route and hit him because they're going to be having their eyes over there at those two big bodies.
Well, you don't want to look up, and this happened in 15. The running attack, it was hard to get it going. You're coming off of 3 straight trips to the state finals, 3 Super Bowls, 3 state titles. The next year, you had a couple games where you had Will Smith at quarterback, and he's throwing 39 times, school record against Rising.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, the Rising game.
He dang near brought him back from the dead in that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have it come down to that. Hey, we're gonna have to throw the ball.
It was a different look than we were accustomed to seeing.
And you may have, and I'm not saying that's gonna happen, but I mean just throw it out there for discussion. You may have a game where we look up and go, he's done thrown 30 times tonight, and we're in the third quarter.
Field goal unit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we finna
And
see
this is
field
interesting
goal
because
unit.
we got a pretty decent little old kicker this year. Tell us a little bit about him, Brandon.
Red Henry's oldest son, Cole. I mean, I go by it every day. He's got a field goal post in his yard. We finna see. He looked good in the purple gold the other day.
This is going to be 30. Yeah, 30-yard attempt. Let's see what he can do.
Well, the last two,
But he's got a little wide, but he's got distance, so that's good. I mean, that's what you're looking at. Okay, we missed it, but hey, he can definitely get it down there. So we got to do a little bit of work on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just a sophomore too.
It's a young team. This is a very young team. Only 6 seniors.
And you got what? That's 25% of your team. The other 75%, mostly sophomores, and you got a good junior class.
but you got some good seniors though. We don't have many of them, but the ones that are here, they're good kids, good athletes.
Well, the guy standing over there beside you will tell you right now, one of the things, I guarantee you this is running through his mind at the moment, who's going to be the guy to step up, or the guys, I should say, it's going to be the leaders.
Right.
That when you're in that fourth quarter and it's a tight game and you need a score, you're down 4 points, you need that touchdown, who's going to step up and say, okay, here's what we got to do, guys? You know.
And I think we'll be able to tell pretty quick.
Oh, yeah.
I hope.
I hope so, too. But
They'll be, not that y'all can hear me, but they'll be faced with situations where that'll definitely show quick.
Yep.
That was a good
Big
tackle
time
by
play
DeBose.
by DeBose there.
Because I can promise you now, if we're in week 7 and we're looking at each other going,
Who's the leader?
Yeah.
Derek, somebody's got to step up, man. Who's the leader? We're in trouble.
Absolutely.
And it's no not. Last year was what it was, but that was a problem. You're in week 7 or 8 going, man, somebody's got to, you know.
You saw those heads go down a
Consistently.
lot
You had
last
to-
year.
yeah.
You hate to say it, but, man, that something bad happened, and then it went downhill quick.
And that's well said. I mean, you can't say it any better than that. All it took was something bad happening, and then that's it. And people that knew Junction City knew the football
Harmony
team, as
Grove,
you see a line
Hamburg.
break loose here. And I hold on, somebody.
Got him.
Hey,
That's
give me a
DeBose?
number there. Was that DeBose?
Yes.
Talk about not giving up. And it's just a scrimmage, but he
Hey,
showed.
that hustle, man.
That's what you
Yeah.
want to see right there.
Well, there's again, not that y'all can hear me, but there's multiple ways to lead, and that's definitely one.
That's
Exactly,
Yeah,
like-
exactly.
Definitely one. I mean, you can lead, you know.
You can lead in a lot of
you don't
ways,
have
but
to
that's
rah-rah-ree all the time, but you know, that's effort right there.
yes, sir.
Definitely deserves a breather there, Christian.
That is something I guarantee you. The guy with that old dragon cap on is going, and that you just saw him do it right there. Walked over, patted, shook his hand. That's something he will bring up and point out. Guarantee you, Jacob. He will bring that up and point it out. Guys, this is what it's all about.
That drive, we looked fatigued, maybe.
Yep.
Best way to put it.
Well, there's some work's got to be done
Once again,
in
that's why we
the
do
weight
this.
room.
That's
Yeah.
why we do
Yeah.
this.
And that's why you do this.
He just threw his helmet.
They got a substitution going on. And lessons will be learned. 5:02 to go in the second of the 12-minute periods. The extra point is good, and Junction City will receive the kickoff and see if they can get the offense cranked up and get that goose egg off the board before this one's done. The passes, yeah.
Yeah, what a very nice.
A very nice crowd. And I believe that it, yes.
Yeah, that's caught.
That's caught, folks.
That's caught.
Nice catch.
That was Key. Jacorian Key. Like I said, this is his second year of football, folks. I mean, you see the growth early here. I mean, last year he was learning football.
So 4:32 clock running. Bose gets snapped back. He's looking, got a rush on him. Flags fly. Ball is thrown. He's got a man, and I believe that is a no. They're
Yeah,
gonna say
saying it
incomplete.
hit the ground.
They say it hit the ground as he went hit the ground himself.
Jacob,
How he got off a good enough pass as he did.
right.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
I didn't think he could get it there.
You know, I was going to mention this earlier, Jacob. That was Jacob you heard back there talking about how in the world is he getting the ball off. He showed he's got an arm. He's thrown a couple off his back foot, and wasn't no sloppy looking throw.
No.
I mean, he put something on it.
I think you're going to see DeBose tuck some of those once we get to week 1, too.
Good
Because
point,
I mean,
Brandon.
I
agree.
think you're going to
Yeah.
see him run it.
Yeah.
The size difference we got on the outside over there is ridiculous. And they ain't going to see much different all year.
No.
If you can get chemistry with them two big boys on the outside, they're going to be dangerous. Like you said, Wayne, he don't need much time.
No, he
Couple
don't.
seconds.
No, not with the playmakers they got. And they're going to mark that off. While they do, let me tell you about some Union County merchants that's a part of the DSN. Union Kennel and Farm Supply, Walmart, and of course I mentioned Noakes Lawn Care earlier. Glen Mechanical, 101.5 The Hog, Hog Wild Pest Control. McGraw's Barbecue, the official barbecue of the DSN. Folks, put some South in your mouth. Go down there and try them. There is some good barbecue. Murphy Heating and Air, LLC. And real quick, Junction City Merchants, Kim's Hair Salon, Junction City Floors, ENT Restaurant and Grill, Cubs Lawn Care, the Dragon Football Booster Club, and they're looking for more members. Come be a part of it as you see flags fly. And all 30 of these folks, we thank them greatly for being a part of the DSN. The most we've ever had, folks. Make sure if you know some of these people or you do business with them, just mention, hey, DSN was bragging on y'all. And we want to thank y'all for helping them put Dragon football on the air. The 113th season of Junction City football. And no, Derek, I was not around when it started. But we're proud to be a part of it. The 10th year that you put up with us. Well, how does it go? Denting the yelling and spelling and everything else. But we're here again. We got some exciting things for this season, and we will get into that as the season begins. And I can tell you now, the gentleman sitting here beside me has spent a lot of time getting it ready.
Just don't have time, man.
And that's going to be that's going to be the one thing everybody already is noticing. Now, you can look at the crowd, and they're all some of them are like, "Hey, man, offensive line, you got to give these guys a chance. Let's see what they can do." But there's going to have to be some work there to take place as they show 1:41 on the clock of this, and now the clock starts up of this second of the two 12-minute periods.
Yep, hang in there. Let's see how next week goes on the offense, and they got some film to watch.
They got it there, and they're going to be watching it.
Oh yeah,
I guarantee it.
Amen to that.
And if you messed up, Coach Carpenter's going to let you know.
Who's
He's
the-
going to let you know what you got to do to fix it.
Who's our backup punter here, Wayne?
Let me see. Give me a number.
Number
there.
10?
10?
Is that one of the Williams boys?
I believe so. Yep. So the Dragon defense comes out. Junction City coaching staff is giving everybody a little shot at everything here. That's, they've had them in a position. Let's see what you can do. And as we're waiting on Hamburg to bring their offense out, Brent, I'm going to start with you. And let me just say it up front. Be nice, but give me one positive you see and one, we'll call it a negative, but not really in the term I'm saying. One thing that's got to be worked on, let's say, definitely. Start with your positive. What did you see tonight in this scrimmage that you like?
I like what Jacorian Key, how he's played tonight. I'm going to start with that. Obviously the defense, but the improvements Key has made in a year is tremendous. You want to hear the negative?
Let's hear the
Without
negative.
saying it, offensive line has got to be better. I'm just going to put it that way.
Kyle, they ought to be able to hear you pretty good. Give me your positive. Give me your negative.
The defensive intensity, I feel like, tonight
night, they did fly around to the ball. I want to say they did give 110%, running around, chasing the ball on the defense. The offense, they've got some stuff to figure out. They've got a little bit to iron out before they go into week 1 for sure. So that's going to be mine.
Negative.
Jacob, one positive, one negative.
Yeah, I'd say I kind of piggyback off what Kyle just said. I love the way the defense is flying around. Really, both units too. I mean, even when the second group was out there, just moving around, flying that defensive front just kind of stood out to me. You got some big bodies up there, but they're more than just space. The guys are athletic and they're taking on blockers. They're holding their ground. They're not. I think that's key. And just to add a little bit different as far as what needs to be worked on. Got to get in a little bit better shape. Physically, just got to get a little bit better shape because obviously it's going to be hot next Friday night. That's just South Arkansas, right? That's just
Yep,
how it
that's
is.
how it is, especially the first couple
it's
games.
just you want to be in as good enough shape as you can be because you don't want to find yourself trying to get into shape in those first couple of weeks of the season. So obviously it's not going to happen in a week, but I think that need to definitely try to get in better shape in the next couple of weeks.
Derek?
I'm just going to piggyback on what all of them said. That defensive front caused chaos. Because when you take 2 or 3 guys, you're creating those opportunities for those guys to get back there and make plays. And they sealed off the edge really good tonight. J.K. made 2 or 3 really good open field tackles, and they're wrapping up. Last year we had a lot of arm tackling going on, and they've really cleaned that up a lot. And offense, just create opportunities for your playmakers like they're doing on defense. Just watch film, watch what your defensive line is doing. Offense, you got to take up some space up front because, like you said, he only needs a few seconds, and the times when he had time, they made plays. But when he didn't, they're rolling backwards.
Denton, you want to give us a positive, give us a negative?
Yeah, I'm going to go to at the very beginning of the game. Last year, a lot of people got gassed, and you could kind of tell the conditioning. I heard that a lot. Well, 5 minutes, the clock was at 5 minutes before they were fixing to start, and they're still out here running, and it went the entire 5 minutes. So I think that you'll see that different this year. Of that conditioning will be different. The coaching staff, I think, will address that. Negative is the internet stunk.
Yes, and we apologize for that. Nothing we could do, but everybody I've talked to, Brendan was even mentioning that we won't name the carrier, but they need to do something. We were showing 4 bars and still couldn't do it. We come inside, and everything's great. But nonetheless, we're glad you got to see it. For my positive, the guys all said it. The defense, really pleased with it. But one more, I'm going to go ahead and cheat y'all. I'm going to give 2 positives. The hustle, the flying around. Jacob mentioned it right off the old get-go. I ain't going 55 miles an hour. I want you going 110. Now, negative, and I don't sure if you want to call it a negative, but we don't call out any incidents. But if you saw it, you saw it. Lessons going to have to be learned. It's not me, it's we. It's okay to have that passion, but let's have it under control. And Coach Carpenter does not have a problem teaching those lessons. If that all can come out in the wash and come out good, you're looking at a very successful season for Junction City football. I'm not saying, hey, they're going all the way to Little Rock, but I'm talking about you will see some success that a lot of people are not predicting. Anyway, we're glad you joined us. Next Friday, it's on, and we're looking for y'all to be a part of it. Harmony Grove comes to town to take on Junction City. You can see it all here on the DSN. For Mr. Brendan Cup, Mr. Kyle Sellers, Mr. Derek Rocket, Mr. Jacob Humphrey, the old ex-cat here, Mr. Dan Ashcraft, we wish you all a very good weekend. One more weekend without any regular season football, but next weekend, it's here, folks. Good night to all, and God bless.
The following has been an exclusive presentation of the Dragon Sports Network.